Добрый день. Приветствую всех, кто смотрит нас. И сегодня в гостях наш Дом Медиа, конгрессвумен Николь Малиатакис. Николь избрана в Конгресс от Республиканской партии на прошедших в ноябре выборах. И она будет представлять в 11-й Congressional District города Нью-Йорк, куда входят Стейтен-Айленд и часть Бруклина. Добро пожаловать. First of all, congratulations in your position, Nicole. You're growing fast. And when we first met, you worked in the governor office, and after that, you've been in a state assembly, and right now in a Congress. And the next step may be the White House.
Well, I appreciate that, Igor. Look, I've known you for a long time, and I appreciate the support that I've received from the Russian community. We are very excited about working together and ensuring that we overcome this pandemic and get our economy reopened. And we have a lot of challenges facing our nation right now, so I think it's a critical time to be entering the Congress.
Yes, the critical time, of course. And, when you started, it was President Trump. And right now you have to work in a different situation with a new president. And how you feel about that?
Well, look, I believe that obviously as a Republican, I would much rather be serving with President Trump. I believe that President Trump has accomplished great things during his term in office. When we look back on his record in terms of creating jobs, improving trade deals, making sure that we put America first, that we put a fight against socialism, making sure that we reduce the number of unemployed in our nation, improving for veterans, those who sacrifice so much for our nation, and make sure that they're being taken care of. The president has done really great things. He accomplished a lot in a 4-year period, and so it's unfortunate that he won't be able to build on that success. But I think moving forward, my goal is to make sure that we don't backtrack now as a nation, that we don't erase many of the things that he was able to accomplish. Already you're hearing so many rumors about what Biden's agenda may be in terms of open borders, in terms of moving more towards socialism, adopting parts of the Green New Deal. I think we need to be very vigilant about that, and that's what I intend to do as a member of Congress. Look, I want to work with everyone, Democrats and Republicans, where we can find common ground. But I also know that, as the opposition party, we need to be vigilant in looking at what kind of agenda they're going to be trying to pursue and making sure that we're not going backwards, that we're moving forwards as a nation.
Yes, but the last decision, what we know was the Biden gonna give the approval for the 11 million of the illegal immigrants for the United States, and after that, more than 50% more the people rushed to the United States, and how the Congress gonna vote for that, and.
You know what? We're not even sure that Congress is going to get a vote, because he's actually talking about potentially doing this by executive order, which would be very wrong. This is something that requires a debate and discussion on the House floor. That is the reason why we are duly elected members, to be able to have that debate and discussion. I don't think that any president in that case should be acting unilaterally when it comes to determining whether 11 million new citizens. I am someone that supports secure borders. I am someone that believes, yes, we need to modernize our immigration system. We need to improve it. We need to make changes that are to modernize it, so it's really an immigration system of the 21st century, utilizing the technology that we have. We want to make sure we're tracking visas, making sure we know who's coming in and out of our country. We want to make sure that the process is streamlined a bit, so people don't have to wait years and years and even decades in some cases to become citizens of this great country. We want people to be able to have the potential to pursue the American dream, just as my parents did. But we want to make sure we're doing it wisely, we're doing it safely, And I don't think just a blanket amnesty, as Mr. Biden is proposing, is the right way to go about it. I think that we need to work collectively on addressing this issue with the legislature involved.
You just mentioned your parents. I know what's your mother from Cuba, and you just mentioned also the socialism and the communism. And today is the day when the problem in the Russia with the opposition to the Putin, and maybe you will give us a comment about that, because the Michael Pompeo already expressed his vision to that, like many European leaders. And what do you think about that? What's the happen? If you know what's going on in the Russia with Navalny, he's opposition to the Putin. He's the leader of the opposition.
Yeah, look, we don't believe in silencing our opposition here in the United States of America, and I think that's something very important. People don't understand how we are so different from countries like Russia, from countries like Cuba, for example, or Venezuela, where if you are a member of the opposition, you are silenced, you are beaten, you could be jailed, you could be killed. And I think that what we pride ourselves on in America is being a two-party system, a democratic republic, where we believe in exchanging ideas, exchanging philosophies, and developing policy based on that we are all duly elected representatives of in our case, upwards of 700,000 people as a member of Congress. And so I think it's important that we continue to be a leader that promotes that, a leader that promotes democracy, a leader that promotes fair, equal exchange of ideas. We don't support silencing the opposition. Unfortunately, we are seeing some censorship in this country, which is something that we haven't seen prior when it comes to social media platforms and the internet. We need to be mindful of that, and I think it's a very dangerous, slippery slope for us as individuals who believe in the First Amendment and the Constitution.
Okay, very interesting. So let's come back to the Russian community. As I know, and we have a lot of responses from our readers from regarding the election. And as I know, with a lot of our community elected for the President Trump, and not only for the Trump, but for the Republican Party. I guess you know about that. And 2 years ago, in the year 2018, it was only 180,000 voters in the election in 11 district, New York 11 district, your district, okay? And this election, it was 290,000 voters elected for the Republican and the Democrats total, I mean. So the next one in the 2 years, the quantity will be lower, I guess. It will be again, we come back below the 200,000. And how you feel, how we can work with the election, how we can work with the people. I'm asking because some years ago, I worked with a program which is called Civic and Voter Education Initiative. We worked with the people, educate them how to vote, and educate them what is the Republican Party, what is the Democratic, what is the Conservative, and some others. And we advise them to going to be registered. This is the problem because let's say for the last 2 years, since the last election, 2018, I mean, about 10,000 houses sold in Staten Island. I'm talking Staten Island right now. So 10,000, it's mean we can assume was the 2 voters in the one household. And it's mean 20,000 voters left and 20,000 come to the Staten Island. We don't know they're already registered or not. And what do you think? What we can do together to organize the voters, educate them, and push them to be voters?
Well, Yeah, what you saw this year was a record turnout. Many people registered for the first time. Many people voted for the first time. I met individuals who were senior citizens who said that they were voting for the very first time, which was really quite shocking. I think that people are very engaged right now because for one reason or another, they're very unhappy with the direction that our nation is going in. They see that there are individuals that want to fundamentally change our nation, move us towards socialism, that want to erase our history, that want to change our culture, cancel our culture, as they say. And so people were very much coming out in this district to support President Trump, who once again won in this district, but also, I believe, to send a very strong message to Mayor Bill de Blasio, to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that they do not want socialism in this nation. We are that community that supports our police. We want law and order. We are a community that pays taxes and it deserves respect from our city and state government. And we feel that we are not being treated as we should be, that government is going away from its basic responsibilities of keeping us safe, of making sure the streets are paved, making sure that the transportation is flowing, making sure that children are getting an education, making sure that we have an environment where our small businesses can grow and can hire more people and create more jobs. All of that was very much on the line in this election. And people were very upset, having been seeing the economy close and school close and how crime had soared. And rightfully, they came out to send a very strong message to our elected officials. And so I think that that was part of the reason why you saw such a large turnout. Now, the objective for 2022 is to make sure that individuals realize that still there's so much on the line as there is with every election. And I think, we have to make sure that people are motivated to come out and vote, have their voices heard, because voter apathy is the one way to ensure that, we don't have good government, right? We have to make sure that people do vote and have their voices heard. And I think that that is, we continue to do that by educating people about the importance of voting and what are the consequences of not voting. And of course, this cycle, we're going to have a lot of challenges. We have Democratic one-party rule now at the federal level, the House, the Senate, and the White House. And so I'm concerned about some of the radical policies, some of the socialist policies we're going to be seeing coming out of this administration. And I'm going to be there at the forefront pushing back on these policies. Again, I want to work with Democrats where we can find the common ground, where it comes to overcoming this pandemic, comes to accelerating the vaccine for those who want it, when it comes to reopening this economy, getting Americans back to work. But certainly, based on the agenda that we're hearing coming out of President-elect Biden, that we're going to see a lot of policies I'm going to disagree with that I believe will also hurt my constituents. And it's incumbent upon individuals like myself with the support of the community to push back against it.
It will be very good. It will be very good to work with you and educate the people for the next election in the future. And doesn't matter of the party. Some people may be voting, maybe not, not maybe. They exactly somebody voting for the Democrats, somebody voting for the Republican. But we have to advise them what's going on, what's different with the party. And I will really appreciate your support, and will be very good to work together in this. Maybe to organize some program like that to educate the people. And in today's economy, you just mentioned a couple of times, so we are in a COVID situation. What is your plans? What do you think? How we can grow up from this bottom of the economy?
Well, Igor, I think the best stimulus plan is to reopen the economy. And the sooner we can administer the vaccinations to those who want it, the better off we'll be as a community. But I'm very concerned about the arbitrary shutdowns that we've seen from Governor Cuomo and from Mayor de Blasio, particularly our restaurants, how they've been shut down, an entire industry in our city based on no science. As you know, the restaurants contributed 1.43% of positive cases for coronavirus, and yet they shut down the entire industry, and they're moving people to gather in homes instead, where we see 74% of coronavirus cases. So it doesn't really make sense that you would move people from an industry in which there are certain sanitary protocols, there are certain rules and regulations in place for social distancing, for sanitization of hands, for masks, and move them to where unregulated, where people are just gathering in their homes, right? So it didn't make any sense. And this has been so hurtful to our economy. So I think number one, reopening the economy is critical. I support a tailored COVID relief package, assisting those individuals that are unemployed or that they've experienced loss of work or loss of business due to mandatory government shutdowns. But we need to begin to reopen our economy, both here in New York and in cities across America. What we are seeing is government overreach. And people who come from countries like yours, like where my mother comes from, understand what happens when government comes in and takes control of your livelihoods, and we can't allow that to happen. So we need to make sure that we're being wise about it, we're being smart about it, that we are putting public safety and health first always, but there's a balanced approach here that I've been advocating for, and I'm seeing that Governor Cuomo is starting to turn the corner a little bit and saying that we do need to reopen, we can't stay closed much longer. But the effect that this has had on our economy has been detrimental, whether it be job losses, whether it be small businesses closing for good, whether it be the loss of tax dollars coming to our city and state government. So that's why I say, federal government can do stimulus packages, and it's okay for temporary assistance, but the real stimulus package is the reopening of this economy so people can return back to work and pursue their livelihoods.
What I think the stimulus packages, it will be correlated with the inflation. It's maybe the inflation go up because it's too much money taken from nothing, and debt of the United States is grow up, and how it will be correlated with the economy.
Well, I think it does have a negative impact because somebody eventually has to pay for debt. That is the problem with it. And we can't continue to spend and spend and spend. We're approaching a $30 trillion debt in this country. One thing we learned from individuals like Margaret Thatcher is that socialism doesn't work because you eventually run out of the money. And that is exactly what we're seeing starting to take place, which is why the most important thing we can do is get our economy back on track, restore the American jobs, which is why I thought President Trump's election was important, because he was able to get our economy in a place where we had the lowest unemployment ever, and now he would have been a president that could have returned us to that record low unemployment and create jobs and get us back on track. So I hope that the Biden administration takes a look at what President Trump did on actually helping the economy and takes some lessons from that and implements it, not does something that would unravel it even further. So that is something, when we talk about, we see him talking about increasing the minimum wage. You got to be very cautious about doing these things. A already fragile economy where small businesses are barely making it. That is something that you need to be very cautious about, and I would warn him against making some drastic changes. Instead, what we need to do is put some stimulus into the economy, which we are doing, but reopen this economy, get the people back to work, and you'll see how it will naturally, I believe, grow and take form if you allow it to do so. But these arbitrary government shutdowns are really detrimental, and every day that passes, we're losing small businesses for good. And as you know, small businesses are the backbone of our economy. And in terms of how they employ the people that are closest to us, our neighbors, our friends, we need to make sure that they survive this. They are going to need some assistance, but we want to be smart about it.
Okay, hopefully this year, the coming year will be better, and I hope this is not our last conversation. I wish you good luck in a new job, in a new position in the Congress, and hopefully you will inform our community about all the news in the Congress and what you're doing for us, and we will work together for the community.
Well, I appreciate that, Igor. And, being the daughter of a Cuban refugee, my father's also a Greek immigrant, I feel always very close with the community here who came from Russia to pursue the American dream. And that is what I'm looking forward to working to do in Congress, preserve that American dream for future generations and making sure that we preserve our freedoms and liberties here in this country. So thank you to the Russian community for their support, and I look forward to working with all of you and being your representative and advocating for our freedoms and liberties and making sure that we do preserve this great country which we've come to for opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for your interview. Thank you for your position, and good luck.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.